These plugins are so nice because you can make them aesthetic, which is really something that is key to editing. Welcome back, guys. So today I'm taking you guys along with me and we're going to be taking a look at all the Final Cut Pro plugins that I actually use in my videos. So these will be from different plugin packs, and within those packs I have certain plugins that I mostly use, which I'm going to cover, and I'm going to try to go through them pretty fast because there are quite a few to cover. I'm going to separate this in different sections. So first we're going to cover all the title plugins, then we're going to look at generators, then we're going to look at transitions, and then lastly we're going to take a look at effects. So I will have links in the description box below to all of the plugins that I mentioned that you can get for yourself. So yeah, definitely go in the description box below to find those. Okay, so let's get into Final Cut Pro here, and this is the video that I posted this week. So I'm going to be using this as kind of like a reference as to how I use some of these plugins that I did use in this video. So we're going to start off with the title plugins like I mentioned. So let's start off with this pack right here. So this is called Catch the Shooter YouTuber pack. So this was previously free, but now it is paid, but it's still very cheap. So I would recommend using this, and it has so many options. In this pack, what I mostly use is for like my subscribe button. I'll show it on the screen what mine looks like, but this is the one they give you as default. Like I said, you can adjust colors, fonts, everything. So I use the subscribe button. They have different variations and types. And then largely what I also use is their social media callouts. So these are really nice for adding in social media. You don't have to like stick with the social media that's on here. So if you see, if I drag this in, if you go to edit the title, you can go ahead and choose your icon option and which social media you want, and then change color and whatever. So yeah, I use that also a lot. They have some great plugins for that. And then they just have other titles as well, but those are my mainly used plugins from this pack. So yeah, that's the Catch a Shooter pack. The next thing is a pack that only has one plugin, which is called MCam Rig. So this is completely free, and I love using this when I'm doing videos like this, where I'm explaining maybe something on my computer. It is so nice to zoom into different things. So as you can see here, I have my screen recording and me talking. And if I want to zoom in like here, as you can see, it just zooms in super smoothly. So there you can see, and you can even rotate the camera a bit and really have a bunch of control over how it comes in. If you have any depth of focus blur, you can edit that. So yeah, I absolutely love this plugin as well. So I really recommend you check it out. Again, it is free, which is really nice. Then we have this MKBHD pack. All of these, which has an M before it, is actually from Motion VFX, which is an online place where you can buy a bunch of plugins for Final Cut Pro or even Premiere. So I highly recommend finding plugins on there. They have amazing plugins, and most of the plugins that I use are from them. So I definitely recommend you check them out. Again, links in the description box below. So this pack is called MKBHD, which is from a YouTuber called MKBHD. He made his own pack. Now in this pack, it's not really kind of like the style of my videos, but like I said, it's very editable. And also what I love about this pack is in this tools and effects section, these I use a lot. So for instance, in this video I'm talking about, I use at the beginning here a few of them. So I use this one here, which is called Focus In. So it kind of adjusts your focus like that. I also use this one called Grain and Glow, which gives it a nice like grainy effect, which also really adds to some clips and sometimes makes it just more comfy or just like more aesthetic. And then lastly, I also used the letterbox here. So this is what that looks like. So and that just also adds a lot to a clip and makes it just gives it a whole different feel. So I love using those in my videos. And all the other ones here in this section is also really nice to use. We have split screens, we have vertical footage, which is really nice if you can use that. So I recommend this a lot for you guys if you are interested in finding something like this. This pack is really nice for that. Then the next pack here is M Keynote. So this was created by iJustine, who is a female tech influencer, and I absolutely love this pack. I love her channel and I've always loved the look of her videos. So she made a pack which is very much like Apple events inspired, which is very cool because I love the look of Apple events as well. They have such a minimal look to them while adding so much. So what I use mostly in this pack is these backgrounds. So this one here is just a blurred background, which I use a lot when I'm adding overlays and just having to quickly add a blur. It's really nice, and it has a nice transition into the blur, which you don't get when you just add a blur to your clip. And then this one here, background number 6, I usually make the background full screen, so not just a little block. and then I lower the opacity, and then I use it for my titles. So for instance, if you see here this title that comes in, you can kind of see, it's a little hard to see, it kind of darkens my clip because I set the background to black and then just lower the opacity a lot. So here is the background, and I can just go ahead and just show you guys. This is what it would look like with no like opacity adjusted, but I just lower the opacity a bit, and then it just makes the text stand out a bit more since it's white text. So just for the duration of the text popping up, I use this background, and then it also fades out again. So I love that these have transitions. They're not just suddenly there and suddenly gone. They all have nice smooth transitions. Then we also have here this section, which I use a lot of things from, which is the miscellaneous section. But I love using this web address one because, again, like a lot of my videos, I use like mention websites or things like that. And this is just such a nice minimal way of bringing that up on the screen for your viewer. So I love that. I also like these placeholders. So for instance, this video that you're currently watching, I'm probably in like a little bubble on the screen. These are really nice to do that effect with. So you just have these placeholders where you can drop in your clip, and they're already in a shape and they already have an animation like this. You can add just one, or you can add multiple of these little drop zones. So sometimes I just use one, sometimes I use multiple. But these are so nice, even for just animating like an overlay of an image coming in. These are also really nice to use. As you can see, they have different like styles of them, so you're not just stuck with one type. So that's really nice. And then lastly, the title that I use in the beginning of every single one of my videos is from this title number 1. It just has a nice soft way of coming in. So this is like these titles here are all from that title. So yeah, that is how I make my titles. Obviously, I just use my own fonts and things like that, but the title animation and everything comes from that title. Okay, moving on, we have this MTuber pack. As you can see, the M Keynote one was one of my main ones. It's mostly what I use, but the other one just has some things here and there that I like using. So this MTuber one is also really nice. It's very curated towards like YouTubers. The thing that I use most from this pack is definitely these icons. So I can easily add like an app icon on here, or the additional screen I add a lot. Sometimes when I'm like showing a website, I'll have a screen recording running of showing that website, and then I will put that in this drop zone here in this little additional block, and then I will add in that web address one that I just showed you guys from the M Keynote pack with this, and it just looks, it gives it a nice effect. So yeah, this is what I also use a lot with like a blurred background or something, just to add something into your video, show a clip or something. It's just a nice way to add that. Then we have some free title plugins that I also use. So the first one here is this one from Simple Video Making Freebie. So this is 6 simple titles. I used this one specifically for a long time for intros and things. So these are all really nice, and they're very minimal and nice to use. So that pack I use sometimes. And then also the Simple Video Making 20K freebie also has some nice minimal titles, and this one is one that I've used multiple times in my videos. So yeah, those are some cool plugin packs that are actually free that you guys can go download. I have a whole video on all the free plugins that I have on Final Cut Pro. If you want to check that out, I'll have that linked in the eye up top. So if you don't want to spend any money on plugins, I have a whole video on that you can check out. Then we're moving from titles to generators. So in generators, I only have one pack that I actually use, which is this one here called Simple Video Making Free Textured Backgrounds. So this I use at my end screen, but I can also just use it as different backgrounds for clips. So here you can see they all have this cool texture behind them, and they're editable, so you can change the color of the background with still having that texture. So yeah, I love these little backgrounds. They're just so nice to just have as a staple in your video editing. Let me know if you know of any good generators that I could like test out, because I don't have a lot of them, and I'm just really curious to see if there are any good useful generators out there. So definitely let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so now let's move on to transitions. So for transitions, I use all of the packs sometimes, like I mix and match them a lot. So these are the same packs that I've mentioned before, the MKBHD one, the M Chibu one and the M Keynote one, but I must say the one that I use most often is definitely the M Keynote one again. I just like the style of this pack. So transition number 6 is my most used one. So you can change the color of these little blocks here, so that's really nice. And then also this one, transition number 8, I also use a lot, so it just has a cool little transition, again customizable with color and whatnot. So I use that one the most, but then we also just have, like, from the Intuber pack, we have a few cute minimal transitions that you can go ahead and play around with. And then one pack that is free that you can also download is this simple video making free drippy transitions. They have some nice ones here, and this one I've used quite a lot, especially for like b-roll or something. I just like the animation that it has, so I use this also very often in my videos to yeah, just transition. And then lastly, what I want to cover is some of the effects. So I don't have any effects that I've added in. These are all the effects that you actually get with Final Cut Pro. So the most used ones, I only have 2 that I use all the time. The first one here is called LUT. So this is if you go ahead and add LUTs to your videos. So if you don't know what a LUT is like a filter, like photos have filters. A LUT is for videos, so you can add that to your video. So I have LUT packs that I've purchased that I just put over my video, so basically it does all the color correcting for me. I can just adjust how harsh I want the LUT to be, but that is how you add a LUT to your videos. And then lastly, the effect that I love using is called Bad TV. So this one here is pretty popular, I feel like, so it just gives this effect. And I like using this at like a transition point. So if I want to transition between this clip and this clip, I go ahead and move 3 frames to the left, and then I go ahead and cut, and then 3 frames to the right and cut, and then I add a Bad TV effect over those small clips, and then it looks like a glitch transition. And usually I will add a sound effect to go with that to make it look like it's actually transitioning and making like an effect with the click, mouse click or something. So that's also something that I love using. It's just a simple way to transition from one clip to another, and it's built into Final Cut Pro, which is really nice. So yeah, those are all the Final Cut Pro plugins that I like using and that I use to edit my videos. So I hope this helped you guys out. Maybe you found something that you like. Again, all the links in the description box below. If you want to find any of these things for yourself or buy anything, you can go ahead and go in the description box below to find it. I really do hope this did help you guys out. If it did, give this video a thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. And definitely comment down below letting me know, is there any like packs that you love that you recommend people use to edit? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely check them out. Definitely consider subscribing if you want more videos like this, and just thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.